Oh, hi. Is that time already? Okay, why don't you get us a couple of beers and I'll play the intro. Welcome to our first episode. It's been a while. I think we announced it in, January. And, well, it's finally arrived. We're finally starting to work on the old Spitty. Why the Spitty, you might ask? Simple. Boyhood dream. By beautiful little cars. The whole front end opens up, so it's like a Jaguar E-Type. And basically the only E-Type that I can afford. Apart from that, it's just a fantastic little car. This specific one, the 1500, was never intended for the South African market. With that said, there's a very few in number in South Africa. At the moment, we know of 3 of them, including this one. So they are pretty rare. Unfortunately, all of them has been imported from the UK, and the UK weather is not kind to cars, and that's part of the reason why we're doing this video series, is to actually show you what goes into restoring a car like this, how we restore the car, and then also the restoration work that we do is exactly the way we would do a customer's car. There's no difference between our own cars and customers' cars. We treat them the same, we love them the same, and there is absolutely no difference. This specific one was actually a customer's car that I was going to restore for a customer. We found all the problems on it. The customer didn't want to invest the money that it was going to take to fix the car, and because it's a Spitfire, because it's a boyhood dream, I bought the car from the customer. So yes, this is my own car that I'm working on, and that's part of the reason why this series has taken so long to do. Our customer work always comes first, and unfortunately this one has had the back burner for a little bit. Things have changed a little bit, and we've got a little bit of spare time, and we're going to start working on a Spitty. Hoping that we're going to be doing at least 1 video a week. If all goes well, we'll do 1 video a week definitely, but there might be chances or times where we can't get to that 1 video a week, and we will probably end up doing skipping a week or 2. But we will take you through the entire restoration process on this car, and we can't wait to see this little girl back on the road again. Okay, so who are we exactly? Smithworks was started about a year ago. It is a small company based in the western suburbs of Johannesburg. We are car nuts. We grew up restoring cars. That's all we've done. Apart from our day jobs, we've got a huge fascination with classic cars, and that's how we got into this whole thing. That's what we want to do. It's why we want to do it. It's a hobby turned a business for us. We wanted to restore this car for a while now, but we didn't want to do another series on YouTube where we show you exactly what we're going to do, step by step, how we fix things. That's out of the scope of this specific video. This video is about getting Spitty back on the road. We're going to do a lot of time-lapse photography on this video. I'm not going to take you through every step in this series. There will be a different series in which we cover technical information. We will do guided step-by-step how to repair sheet work or sheet metal work, leather work, upholstery work, woodwork, painting. All that type of stuff is stuff that we will do a separate video series on all those topics, but this specific video series will be purely around the restoration of the Spitty. We're doing a high level technical side of things. We will show most aspects of the restoration, but for the majority of the part, we're not going to bore you to death with all the details on now we're going to do this weld, and now we're going to do this stitch, and this is how you do that. That's not how we're going to do it. Saying that we are not professionals, we are avid hobbyists. There might be better ways of doing things that we do, There probably are better ways of doing things that we do, but the way we do things has been the way that we've done it all our lives. It's worked, it's never failed, it's never let us down. So yes, there might be better ways of doing it, but in this video series I'm going to show you how I would do this car. And I would, at the end of the day, I have to be proud of this result. This car is going to show you what we do as a business. So there's not going to be any shortcuts, there's not going to be any quick ways around the problem. We will take our time and we will show you how we do it, the way that we've done it in the past, and the ways that work for us. Like I said, we're by no means professionals in the industry, in the sense of none of us had official training in this industry. None of us had years and years of working in the industry. We are enthusiasts who've decided to do a business out of it because of the results that we've had with the work that we've done. I'm very proud of the work that we do. It's never let me down, and that's how we're going to show you how we're going to do things. Like I said, there might be better ways of doing it, there might not be, I don't know. In saying that, you will see that later on in this episode I am going to be fixing a box section on the Spitfire, and that's, but you will see that I do MIG weld. Keen eyes would also notice that I don't wear PPE. Simple reason for that is I like the way my fingers and phalanges and everything is attached, and if I wear gloves I will probably lose them. Don't know why, I just don't feel like I've got control over power tools when using PPE equipment. So don't be dumb guys, sorry I didn't say that. Don't be dumb guys, use your safety equipment, they're there for a reason. Don't do what I do, do what I say. Simple as that. With regards to my MIG welding, you will also see that I don't use gas on my welds. I use flux core wire. I know that that's not the best way of doing it. I know that on bodywork you would rather want to use gas, for the simple reason gas is a colder weld than flux core is. And the reason I use flux core is I'm comfortable with it. I've had great success with it in the past, and it works out a lot cheaper than having to replace cylinders every few days welding with gas. Gas unfortunately does run out. The way that the gas regulators work, you do have leakage on it, so it's, if you weld, when you stop weld you have to close the cylinder. Every time that you weld and stop you have to close the cylinder, otherwise you do waste gas. Not that I don't have gas here, I do have gas, I do TIG welding as well. I just prefer to use flux core on bodywork. Like I said, it's not the industry standard, and there's a lot of people that would tell me that I'm crazy for using flux core, but it works for me. I'm comfortable with it, my welds are strong, my welds are decent, I've never had a problem with it before, so flux core is the way to go. Okay, so what are we going to be doing to the Spitty to do the restoration? Well, like I said, she did come from the UK, so there's rust everywhere. A lot of parts of the car is actually rusted away. I have not done any work on the car except for the work that you are going to see tonight. Yeah, basically that's it. The work that you're going to see tonight is how far I've gone with this project. I did recover a steering wheel which was posted on our Facebook page. There's photographs of it. That steering wheel is intended for this car, but if I can find the original steering wheel for her, I'd rather fit that. So yes, that steering wheel is part of this car's project, but it also isn't. In saying that, I have ordered a couple of small parts. When I bought the car it was basically complete. Everything was there except for a couple of smaller items that I had to buy for her. Everything else I had. I'm going to try and keep my spend on this car down to a minimum. I will track my spend on what we invest in rebuilding this project, and at the end of the series I will put up a cost walkthrough on what this car cost us in total to restore, obviously excluding the purchase price. But apart from that, there was no work done by me on this car up until now with this video. So the section that you're going to see that I repaired today is what I've done to this car up to now. In saying that, I know that when you see the section on the actual repair work that I'm doing, some might ask why didn't I just bend a whole new section instead of repairing the section. Well, there's two simple reasons for that. Is the top part of a panel was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with it. There was no major corrosion or rust or anything like that. My biggest problem there was time, and I didn't have time to make the tools to bend and shape the plate. It's got two dimples where you've got bolts that goes through that anchors the body onto the chassis, and I don't have a tool to do those dimples. I would have to make one, and I literally just did not have the time to do that today. The other part of, or the other question is, I've got a philosophy: don't just replace, fix it first. If you can't fix it, then replace it. And in this case, I felt that I could fix it. I think I did a decent job in fixing it, and so we fixed it. But yeah, but you are going to see a lot of that throughout the series. We're going to do a massive amount of body work on this car. There's going to be a lot of metal forming or hammer forming. There will be huge amounts of welding. I want to do the project in the terms like I would do for a customer. I hate body putty, I hate fiberglass. I want to use body putty as little as I possibly can. The least amount of body putty that I can. I would rather spend an extra hour hammering a piece of metal than spend 10 minutes applying body putty. I am not a fan of this stuff. So without any further ado, let me take you into the car and show you what we're up to, or what we're up against in the coming months. Okay, well, sorry about the darkness. I have not rigged lightning up over the car yet to highlight all this type of stuff. But there you can see what I meant by there is a lot of rust in this car. You can see, for instance, sections like this where repairs have been done in the past. When I'm done, I don't want to see anything like that. I don't want to see previous repairs. This panel should look like it did when it came out of the factory. The same with the floorboard. They did attempt to fix this in the past, and I wasn't happy with the way that the fixes were done. So we are going to make new floor panels. Yes, I know you can buy floor panels, but again, I want to try and fix what I've got. Okay, so the passenger side isn't nearly as bad. There was a fix done in this section over here at some point. We will be replacing that. Also underneath the door, there's another fix over there that we'll be replacing. And in the front footwell, unfortunately it's a bit dark to see, but the front footwell also had issues that was left or was repaired by basically just riveting a plate over the damage. So we definitely want to fix that up. Okay, and then, well, that's the start of the project. So in the next slice of the video, we will look at repairing the box section and show you what we did there to fix that up. It's going to be a pretty short video this time, and I've done a lot of waffling and talking. That will not be the case for the series going forward. It's going to be a lot more action, a lot more work, a little bit of, hopefully a bit more comedy. Right, so after we've taken the panel out, we've noticed there's quite a bit of damage on the back of it, and then the front flange where it goes up onto the body is also not that great. The other side, we knew about the bit that's been cut out, but that's also not the best of looking flange that's going on there, and those flanges in the back are pretty bad as well. Now, full disclosure, I made these two panels as replacement panels, and I did this while time-lapsing, and unfortunately my time-lapse camera it didn't do anything. So we do have these two replacement panels that we will weld into that section. That I know is much wider. I first want to weld it into place, and then we'll cut that down to size and have a perfect match up again. Okay, now before we go too gung-ho with cutting everything up, we've also got to remember that we've got these two supports, and their primary function is when this panel is bolted onto the chassis. This prevents this panel from being crushed down into the chassis bolts. Basically that prevents warpage to the floorboards, and it will also prevent this panel where these welds are being pulled through and causing a dent. So we'll have to put those back in, and we'll have to do that in a way that we can cut the two rotten panels out, replace them, and weld the two supports back in. Let's get at it. So now we've got all our bits together. We've got the two supports that goes into the middle of it, and we've got our two end caps. So now we're going to start welding everything together, and time for another time lapse, I suppose. Only tack welded up so that we could test fit it, which I've just done, and everything seems to be fitting perfectly. Try and get some better light on it. Everything seems to be test fitting perfectly, so I'm just going to clean it up a bit, finalize those welds, and then we'll have a look at the finished product. Basically brand new box frame for the Spitfire chassis. Some of you might ask me why I'm not grinding those down completely. Well, simple. This is a structural part. You will see it in. You won't see it in the car once all the upholstery and carpeting's over it. It's not going to be visible, and I prefer to have a little bit more meat on the weld, just for that extra bit of strength and integrity in the frame. So, okay, and then a quick run through the sandblaster just to get all that old chassis paint off of it. And there we have our first chassis section in place. Fits like a champion. We're off to a good start so far. Okay, here's our finished box section. Like I said earlier, those are the two dimples where it bolts down onto the car's chassis. I'm not going to fix that or fix this in place yet. We first need to fix the rockers running through the length of the car, as well as the floor pan. Once those two items are fixed up, we can do this. We can then do the passenger side or left hand side of this car, and once all of that is done, we can then start looking at lifting the body off of the chassis. I don't want to do that yet until we've got all this metal work sorted out. Otherwise you do risk or stand a chance to risk folding the body up like a book. So we don't want to do that until then. Next week we'll be looking at the rockers. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to be waffling on as much as I did tonight. But we will then look at doing the rocker panels, and that's going to be a pretty interesting one. I've still got no idea how I'm going to do it, but we'll have a look at it next week. Have a good night and thanks for watching. Remember to click the notification bell and subscribe to the channel if you liked what you saw tonight.